Why did I pick this poem? This poem, called The Job Application by Marin Kidal, was brought to my attention in college. I went to Carnegie Mellon and we were working on monologues, and I think it wasn't even, someone had sent me like a mixtape. One of my friends from high school had sent me a mixtape with different songs and poetry, and a lot of this woman's poetry is on it, and she's A, hilarious, B, very, very dry, and C, very, very contemporary. And if you look at it, it's all written in verse. It does, everything rhymes, but very much like Shakespeare, if you want it to make sense, you have to curve around.
Do you want to know the fancy term for that?
What, besides iambic pentameter? Wait.
Yeah. When a line goes over like that?
Well, you know what's really funny is I studied a semester in Oxford, Shakespeare and Chekhov.
Right.
And, you know, as English people treat Shakespeare like we treat Mamet.
Right, absolutely.
So they're so chilled out about Shakespeare. You know, and of course I had just come from like junior year of like iambic pentameter and this and that and rules and this. And I was studying, and I was doing viola in 12th night, and I was, you know, clearly doing my rhythm like American does. And the teacher came up to me and he went, "Darling, do you know what you're talking about?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, then just talk like a human being and not like a robot. Maybe that will work better." And I said, "Well, what about the iambic pentameter and the rules and the this and everything?" And he went, "Oh, Jesus, that's only for when you don't know what the hell you're doing. Only when you don't know what you're saying and it makes absolutely no sense do you just do the iambic pentameter and cross your fingers and hope for the best." But he was like, otherwise, interpret the text, you know, like it's a regular monologue. And it was so freeing as an American to go and study in England. And so since then, I've really learned to appreciate poems that are written in verse that encourage you to go outside the rhythm of the way it's written.
The fancy term for that is enjambment.
Enjambment?
Enjambment, when a line finishes after a line.
Enjambment? I had no idea.
Now you know.
Oh, I'm a big fan of enjambment.
I know you are, I can tell. Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that poetry has more of a tradition in England than here?
Does it?
Well, maybe it doesn't.
I don't know. I mean, I think they have obviously a longer history of poems, just because they've been around hundreds of years longer than us, so they've got more famous poets to their, you know, cachet. But I have to say, I think it's probably just as popular here. I'm with, you know, Dickinson and I mean, we have so many of our own poets. They just happen to be more contemporary. We just don't have as many because we just didn't get in the game early enough. But even just, I mean, it's also your definition of poetry. I mean, I find some song lyrics to be some of the most beautiful poetry I've ever read. You know, I mean, lyrics by Billy Joel. You know, and so it goes. I think it's some of the most beautiful poetry I've ever read. So I guess it really depends on your definition of poetry. I think poetry can be found anywhere. You know, in a subway. It's really, and not like Subway, like, you know, Subway. So I don't know. I'd have to maybe disagree with you that it's got more of a legacy in England. I think it's universal. I think it's like music.
Great.